Oh boy. My decision to become baptized is probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. Mostly because of my heritage. Most of my family still doesn't know I attended church. And I have felt for a long time like I'm betraying my ancestors. I am actually the daughter of Holocaust survivors. I come from a Jewish family. All of my ancestors are Jewish. So I grew up in a Jewish household, celebrated Jewish holidays. I never really went to a church at all growing up. It just was outside of anything that we would do. So a few things happened that kind of led me to start questioning God and religion and who am I and where am I going and where did I come from. In 2015, I got a pretty upsetting diagnosis of a rare brain disorder that put me in bed for about 1.5 years, just sick all of the time. About a year after that, I was driving my daughter Maddie, who was 5 at the time, home from school one day. And just out of the blue, I asked her, like, do you know who God is? The question just popped in my head. And she's kind of a goofball, and she looked at me from the back seat of the car and she said, a crazy banana. And I realized, wow, like she doesn't know what God. So I asked her again, and she just kept saying these silly phrases, and it occurred to me like this wasn't okay with me. But then it also occurred to me that I didn't really know who God was either. And I was talking to my really good friend who is a believer, and it was a few months before I was going in for brain surgery. And I told her, I said, I think I need to know more about this. I need to know more about the Bible. Like, I don't know anything. And that day she showed up at my house with books and Bible verses and a big hug and just said, start here. Let's get together and we'll just talk about it. And that was kind of the beginning of my being even open to learning about Jesus. So really just her being there for me and showing up and saying, I think I have something that's going to help you get through this surgery. I've changed a lot, and I know I've changed a lot. So I used to turn to a friend or a family member or a book for advice on how to deal with things. And sometimes that's still my instinct. I better call my mom, or I better call my sister, or talk to my husband. But then something inside of me says, no, turn to me. And I pray. I pray a lot. What I've come to realize is God wanted to know me. God wanted me to know Jesus. I wanted to know Jesus. I just didn't know it then. I mean, before I had, like I said, like no relationship with God. I saw God as this distant, vengeful, powerful, mean guy out there, right? And now that's the first place I want to turn. So I think that would be the biggest thing, is that I turn to God, I pray more, and I rely more on what I hear back than what other people will tell me.